Hey everyone, I'm Mecca here from my self-publishing blueprint, and I am sitting down with Carla Marie from Carla Marie Publishing, and she is no stranger to this channel. I am so excited to talk about all things fiction publishing today, and I am going to be specifically asking her your questions that you've been posting me over the last little bit, and then we got a little surprise that we have coming up at the end, so make sure you stay tuned. But Carla, welcome back to the channel. Great to see you.
Hey, America. Thanks so much for having me on again.
Hey, it's great to have you. I gotta ask, how's the lake? How's the view? I don't know if are you on like can you turn the computer and show people your view? Like, I don't know if that's possible. If you can, don't worry about it.
Why not? I'll take you on a
walk. Oh, sweet. I am a big, well, I've talked to you about this. I'm a big view fan, right? So I love views of lakes and oceans. You know,
all right.
Kind of living my ideal life right now.
Yeah, I live in a pretty sweet spot.
It's Penticton or Summerland?
I live in Penticton, and it's today it's 30 degrees Celsius, so it's beautiful.
Hold on, I'm going to see if I can match your 30 with with. Oh, look at that 31.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
look at that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's just stunning. You got your own private beach down there.
Yeah, nice view.
Is that Lake Okanagan?
Yeah, this is Lake Okanagan. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
I'll let you go back inside. Thank you so much for showing that. And fiction publishing, self-publishing is paying for that beautiful apartment and that beautiful view. If those of you who don't know Carla, I'll link to her channel in the description. She's originally from Regina's not a small little town, but it's a smallish city in central Canada, and she's living over in the lake. You've been there for like 8 months, or
I've been here since last September 1st. So about that.
Yeah.
Actually, and I'm not from Saskatchewan. I'm actually from Edmonton.
You're from Edmonton.
I lived in Saskatchewan for a long time, and before that, I lived in BC. I've been all over Western Canada. So
cool.
But I love BC, and I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. All right, so let's talk all things fiction. You are the fiction queen. If somebody wants to learn how to do fiction publishing, specifically in the romance genre niche, without a doubt, they go to you. So congratulations on setting yourself up like that and really dominating, so to speak, at the marketplace there. But I want to talk about, how do you get into fiction? Let's say you've decided to go into fiction versus nonfiction. Where do you start? Can you walk me through, and everyone walk them through the steps? Is it similar to nonfiction, where you're going to do your niche and keyword research and then just figure out a title, book title, get it outsourced, throw it up? What's the process?
There are similarities for sure. Number one, the first thing you're going to be doing is niche research. So you're going to look in the Kindle store, into Amazon, and see what is already selling. What do people want? So sometimes I have people they're like, oh, I hear romance sells really well, so I'm just going to publish a romance book, just like a love story. And that isn't enough. You need to dig deeper into the bestsellers, see what they're about, see what the themes are in the book, that kind of a thing, and then start to get an idea from there what niche you want to target for your books. And the thing is to get pretty specific, and then build an audience around that niche and target readers who are interested in that and want that.
So you're taking a look at the bestsellers, seeing what's already trending, what's already doing well, kind of what the marketplace is just demanding, so to speak, right?
Yes, definitely. That's the thing. You need to be looking at that and filling a need for what people are looking for. And so you kind of, look and see where the demand is already, what is trending, what's hot, what people are really into, and then you can target those readers. And and create books for them that they're going to love.
So let's say once we figure it out, wait, do you have to stick with romance?
No, no, totally. And that's the
No.
thing, the process that I teach, it can be applied to any fiction niche. I mean, my success has been in romance. My clients, primarily, their success has been in romance. I've had a few clients who have gone off to other genres and done well.
Hmm.
But so since I'm teaching from romance, a lot of the promo opportunities and stuff like that that I talk about,
Are
like the specific ones,
specifically
are specific to romance, but the
right
general process of publishing in fiction and building an audience and everything, I mean, it can be applied to any fiction niche.
to any fiction niche?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good
Yeah.
because I know that is a question that's popped up quite a bit, and
Okay.
even when students come to me, hey, does your course work with fiction or fiction or only nonfiction? I say, well, the principles are similar. There
Mhm.
will be a point in time, I think, where you do need more specific
For sure.
fiction things,
Mhm.
for
And
sure.
it's different on the back end too, like what you can do in the
Yes.
back end of nonfiction and what you can do in the back end of fiction, and so that's where they differ a lot.
Well,
So
let's
what I mean on the back end is like what
yeah.
you can do, where you can direct your readers at the end of the book, like to other opportunities or whatever, things like that.
Those of you who might not be familiar with that, that's whereas, like you might sell some affiliate products with nonfiction books. And I was having a discussion with somebody, and that's where nonfiction readers, if you set your business up right, that's where really you're going to make the big bucks is selling
Mhm.
not or selling affiliate products to your email list that you
Yeah.
got from your Kindle books.
Right.
Whereas fiction, I'd say when you're talking apples to apples, income from Amazon, fiction is leaps and bounds ahead of nonfiction as
Mhm.
far as, well, from what I've seen,
For front end sales, yeah.
for front end sales. That's a
Yeah.
great way of putting it.
Yeah. For
Cool.
sure. Yeah.
So, what about book creation? Is it a similar process? Do you, are the companies you use, do you prefer freelancers over companies? Um, what about that? What about that aspect of the business?
So up to this point, yes, using like hiring my own freelancers through Upwork has
Hmm.
been a better choice. um, I personally, I haven't used companies for fiction since ever. For nonfiction, I used some, and I did
Right.
have good results with it.
No.
But I've
Okay.
had some students who have come to me, some like newer students who used some companies for outsourcing fiction and just didn't have good experiences with them. So I encourage people to develop their own relationships with writers.
Hmm.
That being said, I'm not going to kind of mention this specific platform yet because our relationship's in its infancy, but there is a newer company, freelance writing company, like writing services company that
Yeah.
is on the market now, has a website and everything. And
Cool.
we're doing some beta testing with them to see the quality and everything because I mean that could really help some people that struggle with finding writers. You know, to give them some a kind of done for you option
Yeah.
there when it comes to writing.
That's what I love
But
about the writing company. It's just done for you.
yes,
Right.
for
You
sure.
pay them, it's
And
done.
yeah, I mean, if there it is possible for a company to do that, high quality with fiction,
Hmm.
then that'd be great. So, like I said, I'm beta testing with a company with some of my students. So we'll see how it
Cool.
goes. Yeah.
That's interesting. That
Hmm.
is interesting. What about getting your picking your title, your subtitle, and your cover?
Yeah.
What are some pointers you could give people who might be struggling with that area?
Okay. So again, this is a place where you go and look at the bestsellers, and you'll hear
Hmm.
me say that over and over and over again. So you want to go and see what the bestsellers in your niche are using for their titles. What kind of words are they using? Are they words that are uh, related to emotions? Are there words that are related to people, to
Hmm.
objects, that kind of a thing? What's in the subtitle field? Are there subtitles? That's going to vary from niche to niche as well.
Hmm.
And for covers as well, you want to look at the covers of the bestsellers that are selling really well in your niche and pay close attention to how they're set up. What kind of images are they using? What is the font style? Where is the font located on the cover? Where's the author name? What kind of colors are used? what kind of a feeling do you get from the cover? So those kind of things are what you should pay attention to. And I mean, I would love to make this more complicated than it is, but it's actually quite simple. It's like you can look to bestsellers, see what they're doing, and use that as a guide to create something that is really in line or aligned with the market and what
Right.
people want to buy, what they want to read.
That's interesting. What What do you recommend for your students to spend on a cover? In nonfiction, we're spending $5 to $10. I tell them for your first book,
Yeah,
$10, all you need. Once it's profitable, maybe reinvest and
yeah.
got a cover. Or how do you take that?
Not enough for fiction.
Really? Okay,
Well,
that's
nonfiction cover. Look at nonfiction covers compared to fiction covers. Some of the
yeah,
best-selling
true.
nonfiction covers, they just have text on them. You know, like it's you can do
Yeah,
that
you're
in
right.
Canva for you can do that in 20 minutes in Canva. You know,
Yeah,
kind of a thing. I'm not to say that some they aren't really good, some of them, but
yeah. No, I hear you.
they're a lot more nuanced. And
So
so anyhow,
what should the average person spend for a fiction
price
cover?
point.
Yeah, price point.
Say, I mean, if you can luck out and find a good Fiverr gig, then great. You know, do that. I would recommend always using your own stock images
Hmm.
and not kind of relying on the Fiverr gig to get the stock image for you. But I'm telling my students usually around at least $40 for a cover, $40 to $50. That gets you like a decent quality cover.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Maybe some of your more successful students, what would they be spending, would you say? Like, would it
Oh,
double?
oh, yes, even
Ye-
more. 150,
Wow,
like
really, huh?
yeah, oh, yeah, for sure. Because they
Man,
understand how important it is.
you want to make
Like,
money, you're spending the big bucks with fiction.
and a cover will make or break a book.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
100%.
So it's worth it to spend
Yeah.
something where
Actually, maybe
yeah.
maybe us nonfiction publishers, maybe we got it all backwards.
The thing is they're different. They're just different. Nonfiction covers are, um,
It is different.
little
It's
easier to have a higher quality nonfiction cover.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Maybe that's not
I
accurate, but
well, there's more artwork that goes into a fiction cover, right?
yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Like I'm thinking of the pictures in my head and
Yes.
stuff, and they are way more artistic and everything. Whereas
Mhm.
nonfiction, they don't need that,
Yes.
right?
True.
So
Mhm.
yeah, just two separate things.
Yeah.
Let's keep talking about the price point for a second.
Sure.
For nonfiction, I always recommend people. It's usually going to be $200 to $300 to really, at least if you follow my blueprint, $200 to get your book up,
Yeah.
right? Depending on, it could be a little lower if you're doing more work yourself or whatever the case is.
Mhm.
What's the average cost to get started with fiction publishing, would you say?
I would say for your first book, um, if you're doing like a 30,000 word novella, spending a cent and a half a word on a writer,
Hmm.
it's taking you to 450 right there, and then a cover. So that takes you to about $500. And
Hmm.
I recommend that when you're just starting out, not to invest in a lot of paid advertising because
Okay.
it's really hard to get or it's difficult to get a good ROI because of the fact there isn't an opportunity for very much read through if you only have one book published, right? So,
Right.
yeah. So at the beginning, when you're building up your business at the
Hmm.
beginning, you're you're spending your money on creating the books, on the covers, autoresponder, email autoresponder, you know, which is a certain
Yeah.
monthly fee. Um, it's not that much when you're starting out at all. But then when you start publishing more and you get that
Hmm.
snowball going and
Hmm.
getting some cross promoting happening and whatnot, then you start to see the revenue come in, and then you can, as you have more books, then you can start doing some paid advertising because
Right.
you have all these other books that a reader can read through to, which
Right.
would make that your paid advertising have a better ROI.
So about around $500 or so to
Yeah.
start,
Yes.
roughly.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
It makes sense. It makes sense. It's
Mhm.
much longer books. The
Mhm.
covers, it's more complicated.
Yeah.
And okay. Hey, there's some questions that some of my students have been asking you.
Okay.
So I want to take some time, just kind of dive into those. And we'll
Sure.
hammer through those. So Jacob asks, how do I increase my conversion rate for email signups? is offering a free PDF book an optimal incentive for a sign up? What would you say to
Oh,
that?
100%. Yes. You want to offer a really high quality book. So you don't want to cheap out on the lead magnet. You want it doesn't mean it needs to be really long. You don't have to offer a full length novel. You can offer a
Okay.
novella for your lead
Hmm.
magnet, but it needs to be high quality and needs to have a killer cover. Like that makes a huge difference. So really put some effort and investment into the cover.
Into the cover for your lead magnet.
For sure. And make sure it's
Cool.
really dialed into the niche that you're trying to target. So really attracting those ideal readers who are then going to read through to everything else that you put out.
Cool.
So
Mary asks, are keywords as crucial in fiction?
this is in my opinion, I don't think they're still important, but not as important as nonfiction.
Interesting.
Because a lot of people will go into the Kindle store that are looking for
Hmm.
specific information for nonfiction, and
Hmm.
they'll type that into the keyword search.
Okay.
And then your books, if you're publishing in nonfiction, they'll come up in the results for that keyword. But for nonfiction, I mean, if I'm publishing dragon shifter pregnancy romances, if
Yeah.
I'm publishing dragon shifter pregnancy romances, it's not as likely that a reader is going to go in and type in that specific keyword in the search bar looking for something. They're more likely going to find your book by doing a category search, like looking at the paranormal category, looking
Okay.
at paranormal bestsellers, also looking at the also bots. So, they're
Huh.
looking at other authors, and then your book comes up in the customers also bot,
It's kind of like it just clicked to me. It's kind of like I'm picturing myself back at Roger's Video, Blockbuster Video, at a video store.
Mhm.
You're just looking through you're looking at all the covers to kind of see
Yeah.
what jumps out at you, and then all of a sudden that's where you want to go. Or if you're like, hey, I feel like a laugh, I want to go into the comedy category, comedy section, right? But you're not
Yeah.
thinking of a specific title or whatever the case is.
Mhm.
That's kind of what you're talking about.
Um,
No, it's
kind
the same.
of.
Yeah,
And
you
also
can say a Mecca. That's nothing like I was talking
well, the
about.
thing is, visibility is always good, and
Okay.
that's why even, like I was saying, if you have a few books published, starting
Yeah.
to do PNS ads is a good idea because then your covers are just getting some visibility in the Kindle store on
Right.
similar books to what you publish. So
Hmm.
getting that visibility is always a good thing. But in fiction, a lot of the sales and the sales that you're going to get are from outside you driving outside traffic.
That's key.
Yeah, it's huge. It's
That
huge.
is that is absolutely key.
Yeah,
Okay, let's do the next question.
sure.
Thaddeus asks, how do how do you even break into a market when it appears to be saturated, dominated by select few? So, romance fiction is it the most popular fiction niche? Would you say on Amazon on Kindle?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. It is
Right.
like it's crazy. Like the top if you look at the number of romance books in the
Hmm.
top 100 in the store, it's there's a lot of romance in there. Or like contemporary romance. I think I was
Hmm.
recently looking at the top 100 contemporary romance books,
Hmm.
and the number 100 book was like 280 or something. So the top 280 books in the Kindle store, 100 of those are contemporary romance.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
super competitive.
So
Yeah.
how let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How do you break into something like that? Like for
Yeah.
nonfiction, it would be trying to get into the health and fitness or the self-help niche or
Mm. Mhm.
something competitive like that.
Yeah.
What are some tips or pointers you could give people?
I think having kind of an overall accurate perception of what it means to be in that competitive niche is different in when it comes to fiction and nonfiction. So this is what I'm saying is
Okay.
that you don't need to be a top 500 author in order to do really well. And so sure, there's a lot of competition when it comes to something like contemporary romance, but competition is good because it means that there's a ton of people to sell to. And the
Right.
readers that are buying romance books, they're not just buying one. They're not just buying two. People who are buying health and fitness
Yeah.
books, sometimes they will only buy one or two.
Right.
So you are targeting something where there is a ton of readers.
Hmm.
And if you're publishing consistently and you're building your audience, and that is so key, is you have a mailing list, you're building an audience, you're engaging in a relationship with these people. They're going to buy your books, everything you're putting out. And so, sure, some of my students from the past few years are enormously successful,
Hmm.
like top 100 authors, very, very
Wow.
successful. Um, but you don't need to be at that level to do
To
really well,
to
to
have a
be like a
solid income.
six-figure publisher,
Right.
right? And so um, it's yeah, it's all about brand building and providing really high quality books that are targeted at a specific reader. That's how the business
Oh,
is made.
that's great. So it's really in order to get into those super competitive niches, just run
Yeah,
your business like a business.
run it like a business. Yeah, really pay attention to branding. Pay attention to engaging with your readers, with your
Hmm.
audience, and um, and making sure that the stories you're delivering are satisfying
Hmm.
whatever need they have with regards to like the entertainment they're looking for.
Okay.
So, and you can ask your readers. That's the thing. You can ask people, "What do you love? What do you
Right.
not love?" And a way to do that without even asking readers is go and look at the reviews of bestsellers right now. Like go to the Kindle store in any niche. Look at the
Hmm.
top. Look at the reviews, the positive and negative reviews of the bestsellers, and that will tell you exactly what you need to have in your books and exactly what you need to not have in your books. And the negative reviews are super helpful because you can take that information and immediately apply it to whatever you're doing. So if like a book, if the negative reviews are all saying like, oh, it was, super sloppy and it needs to be edited, and you
Hmm.
see that in a lot of bestsellers, then if you go in and you make sure that your book is dialed in as far as like editing goes,
Yeah.
then it's going to be less likely that you're going to get those negative reviews, at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, next question is how good is the likelihood or probability of making a sequel without the reader thinking that it's a gimmick or it shouldn't have been done?
That's an interesting question because in fiction, sequels happen all the
Right.
time.
That's the
So,
main. Okay.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Cool.
It's never considered gimmicky in fiction.
Cool. All right. No, that's
Yeah,
perfect.
for sure.
Um, Title and descriptions.
Okay.
Any pointers or tips on that?
I think I already touched on titles
Yeah.
with looking at bestsellers. Descriptions, your goal with your description is to keep the reader reading to the end of the description. And so
Cool.
you need a really powerful headline and
Hmm.
you need something that is speaking to the reader's emotions. And this is for fiction and nonfiction.
Right.
So talk less about the features and benefits of whatever you're offering and talk more about the transformation that the reader will have from reading the book. So in nonfiction, that means how is this going to provide the solution to whatever problem they're looking at solving by buying your book?
Hmm.
And in fiction, that means what kind of emotions is this reader going to feel as they're reading the book? And so, one golden rule that I have for descriptions with fiction is to show, not tell. So, don't just tell the story, like this happened and then this happened and this happened, like in the description.
Hmm.
Instead, show the reader an emotional side. So really bring the reader into the world of the characters and into the world of the story. And if you look at some of the best-selling descriptions, they can really help guide you in what is effective.
Cool. Cool. Can you make it as a lone wolf in fiction without networking with other top fiction authors?
It's a lot harder and it's a lot slower.
Cool. Let's just
Yeah.
leave it at that.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
Okay, we touched on those. Is there a maximum number of series you'd recommend? I'd say just until they stop buying.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
If you
just keep
have,
going, right?
yeah, if your pen name is popular and your series are, do you mean the number of series books? Because
Oh, hold on. We
maybe in
do
that
love,
case,
yeah. And if series are more successful than individual books, and the maximum number of books you'd recommend in a series.
oh, okay, that's good. So yeah, series, yes, series are a good way to go with fiction
Okay.
because you can get the reader involved in, the specific world of the
Hmm.
series. And maximum number of books for a series. I mean, I've seen up to 10 being good, but
Hmm.
um, even just doing a series of like 4 or 5, that's even sufficient. So
Cool.
yeah.
Okay, just a
Like
couple more.
how long do you need? Like how
Right.
many books do you need to feel like that's complete? But the thing is, if readers are loving the books in the series, then
Mhm.
keep it going for a while. Why not?
How do you engage your audience so they become raving fans? And
So,
yeah,
okay,
go ahead.
sure. Okay, sure. So, be sure you're communicating with your audience in multiple different ways. So, there's the mailing list, there's Facebook. Um, those are the two primary ones, of course, where you can actually communicate with them.
Hmm.
And when you're doing your communication, talk to them in a conversational tone. Treat them like people. People want to be engaging in personal connection because
Hmm.
everything is so automated nowadays, and everyone is just like so used to getting bot emails and all that stuff.
Yep.
Make it personal. Ask your readers questions when they email you. Reply back. So
Yep.
really be engaged, and it's amazing. Like the things readers will tell you, and um, the way they will respond to you when you ask questions and really show that you actually do care about them.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing, and that's how you turn them into fans. And also, of course, providing good value through the books that you're offering, and making sure that you are filling their needs. So asking them like, what do you like? What do you want to read more about? And taking their input and then using that to guide where you go with your books.
All right. So just one more question here.
Sure.
What are your strategies for crafting new plots for your writers, or how do you handle that?
Okay, I personally don't do that because I'm not a writer. So I hire writers to make my plots and then execute the stories. And so what I do is I do the niche research. And so
Okay.
I look into the Kindle store, see what's
Mhm.
trending, find those themes. I give those to the writer, and the writer does the plot
Mhm.
outlines for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yes, for
Simple.
sure. Hire the
Love.
professionals.
Right. Yeah. Do what you're best at, and
For
then
sure.
outsource
But
everything.
that being said, I am the professional when it comes to doing the niche research.
Right.
That is my role. That is something I want to do and I continue to do. And I'm very involved in doing that in my publishing business still. Leaving niche research up to a writer is not a good idea because that may not be their specialty. And that's why you
Right.
shouldn't have some writers, they want to like make your covers, they want to like choose your title, they want to do all those sorts of things. But you have to ensure that you are doing all those marketing aspects, including
Mhm.
the niche um, marketing or the
Mhm.
niche research, and then the writer is, executing based on that input from you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. All right. That's pretty much all of them there.
Okay.
Thank
Cool.
you for that. All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what we have coming up for everybody on May 28th.
Sure.
Cool. Do you want to explain it?
Yeah. Sure. So Mecca and I are doing a live webinar together. It's the first time we've done a live webinar together, so
I
it'll be
know.
fun.
It'll be exciting.
And yeah, I'll be talking to you more about self-publishing, fiction self-publishing, and I'll be transparent. There will be an opportunity to join my program in the webinar. So we're going to be on there together. We're going to do some live Q&A at the end of the webinar as well. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be a great way to connect with some more people in your audience and get some more questions answered.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I know, like these questions were asked. It's like within the last 24 hours, so I'm sure
Cool.
there's going to be some more in there, especially once people start watching this video. Might get their gears thinking and everything.
Yeah.
But so it'll be on May 28th, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll have a link for the registration. It'll be the link down in the description. I'll just make it the first link down in the description. It's super easy for you to sign. And what do? They click that,
Yeah, they
enter
click
their
that.
email, and
It'll go to a landing page to register for the
cool.
webinar. Enter your name and email, and then you'll get a special link to join the webinar. The webinar is on Monday the 28th at 6 p.m. Pacific.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking some time. here and chatting all about fiction. I know we don't talk a lot about fiction on this channel, but when we do, I like to bring the best in the business. So
Awesome. Thanks for
hope you guys
having me
enjoyed it.
again.
Thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, and if you really like this, hit subscribe. Until next time, everyone. Speak to you soon.